Alright, I'm back.
Okay.
As you can see it anyway. So I'm,
Okay, this is the map I always feature in my tourneys, without fail, because I like it. Roanoke's Abyss.
So you can't be so predictive with the maps, so you should do some tourney and then pick only Roanoke all the time.
I'd enter it. But we need at least one 20-kilometer.
Yeah, I think at least one is nice as well for team games, especially 2 vs 2 really lives up on such maps.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. One of the last 2v2 tourneys.
Yeah, I think many 20x20 maps are really great for much better for 2 vs 2 than 1 vs 1. So I really like this map choice. And while everyone's starting with first land, I believe, actually not necessary, especially since we fixed the roll-off time for the NGs. So starting first air for Cyber and UEF is not terrible anymore.
Yeah, first bomber would be quite interesting here, I think.
So
or even just, regular first air.
Yeah, just first air, and then you can build a few NGs, and then you can build like third or fifth unit bomber, and it's pretty strong. So yeah, we don't really have to introduce the players right now because we already introduced everyone 2 times. Actually, wait, what? Okay, I lost playing with Jelly. I was confused because I thought Bloodier plays with Gently, and no, that would definitely be interesting to play cross spots. Even that would probably turn into 1 vs 1s. So early Zui coming in from Gently, some aggression here, and
I'm surprised both the pros went Cybran, to be honest, with the possibilities with hover on this map.
Yeah, that's true. Even so, the frigates are great for Cybran, but it's true that and they probably want 2 factions. You can also mix in stealths with other factions, so that's really good.
That's
and so it's probably even better with UF, with stealth and shield is huge. Maybe that's another reason, but I also would think there are many good choices here in both 1 vs 1 and 2 vs 2. The UAF has quite some disadvantages, but if you have a teammate and you can get an NG, then you can make up for the disadvantages. So I think I would actually want an UAF in the team. Even so you have no hover. But I don't think hover is such big of a problem, especially tag 1. It's mostly tag 2 hover that's usually really strong. And tag 1 is...
If you can drop the T1 hover close to the island, especially Zui's.
Yeah, that's true. That's the drops are annoying, but you can deal with that, and I think having advantage of UEF late game battle cruisers is immense, and that's much stronger because
in the 2v2 format I doubt it would get that far, to be honest.
I don't know, you can rush a tech 3, you can even rush tech 3 together with your teammate, right? And the chances that you get so far are much higher than a 1 vs 1, I believe. But yeah, it's also very likely that you don't get that far, that's true. But the main argument would be that you get rid of the weak tech 1 and tech 2 phase of UEF by just getting an NG. And then you don't have to build UEF tech 1 and tech 2 Navy, and you can just go tech 3 later. And I don't think you can really deal with a battle cruiser if you reach it. And I think you can get it in a reasonable amount of time, especially if you put races of 2 players into it. And if I would play, I would probably want to do that. Not anymore now, because I told it. And now I would do something else. But I think that could be really strong. And you can't really do anything about it. While against hover, you can, if you play well, you can defend against it. But what are you going to do against an early battle cruiser?
Well, torpedo bombs are pretty effective. It doesn't have any anti-air.
Yeah, well, you can support it with the cruiser rather easy.
As are submarines.
Yeah, torpedo bombs.
T2 subs will be very effective.
Then UAF has really great counter to all counters, right? Except battleships, maybe. Okay, so some Zui action going on in the north and the south, obviously not, because the people are nice and play Cybran. First naval factories going up instead. Probably no naval factories here yet. Interesting to see that Gently is building the naval behind, while Slow and Bloody decide to build it in front to have the shorter supply lines. I think in 2 versus 2 it's pretty good to build it in front as well. In 1 versus 1 anyway. Because if you lose this naval yard, you probably lose the game anyway, because if there are ships here, then that's a huge problem. In some situations it might save your life to build them in the backline. Oslo is upgrading Tech 2 on the ICU really early, so he looks like he wants to buy torpedo upgrade, and that's another reason why Cyberon is really good on water maps. If you manage to use it well, and if you manage to not get sniped by destroyers or torpedo bombers. So it's quite risky, but it's also really strong. And I'm not so sure if it's good to get it set early, because it's not going to do much against Tech 1 ships, they will just run away. So you pretty much have to use it together with Tech 2 ships, so it can force a fight, and then it's good. While Bloody is just walking to the center island, and the top players are doing the same. So as he is moving to the island, going to get some interesting fights here. And so Slow is kind of giving this up. Maybe he doesn't even want to get torpedo upgrade, and he will walk after the Tech 2 upgrade. And then he will take over the island after Bloody got it with his Tech 2. Let's see what he wants to do. And so then it would be maybe smarter to move here and upgrade here, because that always allows him to change his plans. Looks like the first Sui attack was unsuccessful here. Not sure what killed it. Maybe it got reclaimed by...
I'm surprised how late everyone is to the islands, to be honest. I mean, on a 1 versus 1, usually, especially the good players, have transports by at least 3 minutes 30.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
5 minutes
And transport is coming now, and the difference is probably because people build earlier navy. Because you can do more with navy, because you can actually the distance between these 2 islands is so much smaller than these 2 islands, so you can actually rush navy.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it. And another reason is that people know the SU will come, so an NG drop is less rewarding to some degree, even though I think it's still pretty good. It's definitely not a reason to not drop NGs, because if you drop NGs and the ACU will come and your opponent just gets the ACU, then
well, I mean, you can drop another island by about minute 4 on here easily. Yeah. So I mean, you've got 2 minutes to set up before Bloody's ACU got there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Even so, the ACU could be there earlier as well.
So it would have been plenty of time.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's true. Yeah, I think you have a very good point that people should drop early here, and they need to be careful to not get navy rushed, but it should be possible to not to defend against navy, and make a torpedo launcher or something in case someone is rushing. Like you see this, but if you would do the normal 1v1 build here, then it would be kind of a problem, because you would just now start to make navy. Or a bit earlier, and then you would get overrun by frigates. So you have to adapt a little bit to that and make a bit more navy. Okay, Slow rush Tech 2 through air, and that's going to be interesting. Definitely, he got Styles and Tech 2 on his ICU, and now he could of course drop here, but why would he drop here if he might as well drop his base, right? So I would think to do that, or maybe he even wants to drop ship space, because if he does that, then he can also get support from Gently on top from some navy, and that would make it even less risky. But of course that would allow Bloody to do quite a lot of inside. So I think it's better to drop Bloody, otherwise Bloody will probably get out of control, since he also gets this island. And his drop is spotted, and that could get ugly really fast, because some inties are just in the way of the transporter, but he managed to fly past them, and I
think that was some really bad flight planning from Zelo. He could have
yeah, he needed to be much more careful with this and scout better, because if he lands now, he might die when he gets shot down. It will only be so close, and this transport landed so smoothly. Wow, I'm so impressed, because they often take so long. So this transport was just like, okay, get this guy out of me here. That was so lucky. I was thinking he would die and this game would be over really fast, but Bloody is preparing really well already, has 2 point defenses done, so Slow need to move away now, but he shouldn't be able to really defend too much because Slow has tech 2, and now he's just taking over the point defense of Bloody even. That's a really good decision. So what Bloody is doing, and Bloody is playing this really well, he needs to build factories really fast, and he needs to have a lot of tech 1 army. Medusa, a lot of arty, because he need to avoid Slow building tech 2 point defenses. Once Slow builds tech 2 point defenses, he won't have anything to counter that anymore. So Slow isn't doing anything, he really needs to hurry up. And so far it's looking quite well for Bloody. Slow didn't manage to build anything up yet, he should probably finish this point defense, and he needs attack 2 point defense somehow. Bloody also moving his ICU back
Well,
up.
with the extra build power, couldn't he just reclaim the factories and that? I mean, what is it, 15 seconds per factory?
Yeah, but that's a lot, because in 50 seconds Bloody can already build another factory, or he can build point defense. Like these 2 point defenses, he can just move in there, right? And the other factories build arty. You see how low he is getting, so it's not really an option. Bloody already has too much, and I think Slow Bloody reacted too well. Put it that way, he reacted too fast, and Slow had a few seconds where he didn't do anything and he reclaimed an unbuilt factory, etc. He could have not afford it. He should know that he needs attack 2 point defense to kill all the tech 1 arty, and if he can't finish that, then he will never be able to finish it, because now if he starts it, it's just going to die. He can't build anything anymore. Even so, Bloody shouldn't waste this arty, because if this arty dies, then Slow has another chance of building the point defense. So the question is, what is Slow doing now? Is he trying to get another transport to get out of the situation? I think he shouldn't be too unlikely, because he doesn't really got air
control.
control.
There's no reason he can't just walk out, to be honest. I mean...
Oh yeah, that's true. Except the subs, maybe?
Well, I think he's building subs of his own.
Yeah, but they will be
reclaim, I suppose.
it's just 1 sub, that's not going to be enough, so you need to make torpedo launchers, and he's doing that. He got also torpedo bombers, but no air control. The torpedo bomber will die.
There was a ping.
Yeah. So let's see how well that works. He should repair the torpedo launcher now, so it doesn't die. But he's just walking around. He wants to go back on land, and now he wants to reclaim the subs. Is this 1 torpedo launcher? It's so strong, it's already, even without repairing anything, it's already killing all the subs. So the subs are really weak against torpedo launchers. If Bloody reacted faster, he could probably kill it. Looks like this arty is enough, and just in range of it. So if he just puts an attack move here, the arty would have maybe killed it. Also some Suis here now from Gently coming in as well, but there's too much Medusa already. So I would think that this is probably not going to survive. The Tech 2 issue is certainly causing some trouble for Bloody, but at the same time Bloody is having a whole second island, and he's building up a massive amount of naval production. Slow does have Tech 2 Navy. Building Tech 2 submarines, really good choice here, because all the frigates from Bloody are going to be helpless against this. Meanwhile, at the top side, Gently is getting the better of Stubbs here, and managed to push him away. We completely ignored what happened there, because we were so focused on Slow's move. But looks like Gently just managed to get a factory done. And I don't really know what happened, because there's no wreckage, there's pretty much nothing here. I believe he just got the factory done, and then he managed to have a few single units and managed to push them away from the island with his commander and the units. And now he also gets significantly more frigates, so as long as Slow doesn't die here, it should be somewhat okay. So strips his Tech 2. And I think that's also good, because the only way he can get this island back now is with Tech 2 ships. And also Tech 2 coming in from Gently. Even so, that will take a little bit longer, because it's so far away. Meanwhile, Slow using his barracudas, and there's really no defense. Bloody being really late with his torpedo launcher, so if Slow sees that and focus the torpedo launcher, kills it, and then he can kill the Angies, and he can maybe force the ACU off the water, and he could probably delay the Tech 2 factory, or even kill it before it goes Tech 2. The damage is probably not enough, because it's almost Tech 2, and he decides to rather retreat because the torpedo launcher is done. But I think he could have pushed this a bit more. At the same time, he is not giving up here, still being annoying, forcing Bloody to pay attention and to... no, actually, he's not forcing him to spend many resources right now, but he might do that soon. And killing some naval factories, which shouldn't really hurt, because Bloody already has so many. And increasing his production, switching to frigates now, and got a destroyer orders. Were quite interesting that he made 2 Barracudas and then switching to frigates, because he knows that Bloody will now make his own Barracudas, so building more will probably not give him an advantage. It won't really be bad Barracudas against Barracudas, but he has less mass income, so he is actually building the counter to them with destroyers, and then needs frigates to support it. So that's really good moves by Slow here, despite his strategy of the commander drop not working at all, pretty much. But it's still, even when it's not working, it's still quite strong. I guess you could call it's working somewhat because he didn't die either, and that what would happen if it doesn't work at all.
Well, I think it's more psychological than anything. It's diverting Bloody's attention away from where he'd rather be fighting.
Yeah, that as well.
It means he's always got to defend that island.
Yes, I mean, he had to build 5 land factories and a lot of point defense early, so that's also mass-wise quite an investment. Now, not anymore. He's done, but it's alright. He should probably make some anti-air here as well, so he can ensure that he always has air control, because if he starts to lose air control over his SU, then he will die really easily. And he also can't afford to lose naval control. He could even get the torpedo up right now.
Yeah.
I think that would be a really good move. And then he can move here, because he can't really get this island anymore. He can't do much, but if he gets torpedo and moves here, he can push Bloody out of the water again. And then Bloody won't have any naval production left, and then he can do everything with his destroyers. And even if Bloody is fast to rebuild it, then he will at least get the island, and that's good enough to win the game, absolutely, because Gently still having his island. He had some major engagement here. Looks like it wasn't too successful, but he still has quite some ships, about similar amounts as ships actually, which should probably be more. Or maybe he was a bit too impatient before he had enough to attack. At the same time, he could maybe divert a few units to help Slow. At least I would be somewhat uncomfortable, because in a situation where you're winning, and well, actually, as long as Bloody has his island, he is not winning, but he's losing it right now to Slow, and to Slow's destroyer, because Slow was faster on Tech 2 Navy. Can actually see a really interesting strategy here. Slow just went with 1 factory and just makes Tech 2. While Bloody makes so many Tech 1 factories, which is the usual play, I would say, because frigates are so good. But Slow completely countered that with the Barracudas, and the strategy of Bloody was just inferior to Slow's in this case, I would argue.
Well, it's a risky strategy that pays off depending on how well your opponent reacts, I think. Because if Bloody had taken his frigates and just parked them at Slow's base...
Oh, but that's what he tried, right? And Slow had a few subs, and could probably also make a torpedo launcher, so I think that's... you are somewhat right, but at the same time it's pretty hard to react right if you also have to react to a com drop at the same time.
That's a good point.
Kind of interesting that Slow's stealth is keeping him alive, but I don't agree to not making a few Tech 1 anti-air here. Don't need to be Tech 2, but like 3 Tech 1 anti-air tower would do a lot, because you can use them to help your air. And now the torpedo bombers are coming instead here, and that's much worse, that they kill the destroyers instead of shooting at the ACU and dying while trying. Slow could maybe try to move on land with his destroyers here, saving them from the torpedo bomber, utilizing the utility. Slow's own torpedo bombers doing some vacation here in one of the few safe spots. And now Bloody starts to think he can attack this. I'm not sure. Slow's doing what's suggested and moving the destroyer on land. Even so, now he should actually move back because he needs to kill the submarine as well. But he did a really good job at taking out the islands. Question is that if his navy is strong enough to kill those engagements. This destroyer luckily survived with only 50 hit points, and that's such a huge difference because it's doing just as much damage as this full HP destroyer. So if he doesn't move in too aggressive with that, that's really aggressive. And kinda lucky that nothing is shooting at it. Looks like it's going to die just now. But he did...
That was a bit of a hero destroyer, yeah.
He did win this naval engagement regardless, or at least draw it. So he is still able to kill this island, and he is not losing all the reclaim just from this battle. So that's a pretty big victory for Slow, in my opinion.
What I'm surprised we've not seen more of are drops. I mean, Bloodier does have most of Slow and Gently's islands dropped. He hasn't taken advantage of the mexes, building the mexes, but yeah, on quite a few high-level games, you see drops on the small islands. So, especially since both...
But what would you drop? Because these guys pretty much don't have anything.
Yeah.
So, and you need all your resources, right, for this naval stuff, so investing into transport and also the APM is huge. So I think that's the reason, even so it's always good, but you can also see Bloodier is having one Zui everywhere, and Slow doesn't manage to build a gunship and clean them up yet. So that would also speak for attention problems. And playing really aggressive here with his two destroyers, that's but Bloodier's huge frigates are now starting to really make a difference, because against the Barracudas it was still alright, but now against destroyers his frigates are really strong, and looks like Slow just lost navy. He just lost one destroyer, but it's enough to swing the difference now in Bloody, and this naval was really fragile to swing in in either direction, and looks like now Bloody got it, which means that he will be able to control this island again. And since Slow's base push was somewhat unsuccessful, he's still trying, but so far he's not really doing much, then Bloody having this island is huge. And as long as he's with his ACU here, he's always in danger of, if he loses navy, then Bloody can always just take his navy and kill him, so that's not really a situation he wants to be in. And he's making a lot of frigates in his Tech 2 factory now, realizing he needs the efficient frigates to win, but at the same time he's probably not going to be as many frigates as Bloodier with so many factories. So unless he can suddenly win something with the ACU, and doesn't even look too bad because Bloody is making Mantis now instead of Medusa, which means that Slow can rather easily make point defense once he kills that stuff. Or he should actually not shoot at it. If he has the APM, he should reclaim it because it's faster. With the Tech 2 ACU, he's retreating right now. Doesn't need to, and especially because there's some big supportive attack coming from Gently with Tech 2 now, not only RT, and especially the combination should be strong if managed well, because the RT can take out the Tech 1 point defense. So lack of teamwork here, unfortunately, because Slow is moving back while Gently is moving in, and now the gunship. The units should move here towards the SU, so the SU can build some anti-air to support it. Meanwhile, also Bloody trying his luck with torpedo bombers, but the anti-air of the Cyber frigates is too strong. And at the same time, some naval engagement at the top, where Gently is just parking his Seraphim destroyers, and looks like he is doing a good job. Wanting to retreat now, probably wants to play it carefully, not being too sure how much units coming, but I think he will realize soon that he has actually much more units, especially with the Jensens in the mix, and that ships dived his destroyers, very smart against the hover units, so they don't take so much damage, but Gently should be able to either retreat with his ships and just move in with the hover, or just go in and kill this. While Slow's trying to make some maneuver here bypassing Bloodier, but not sure if that's the smartest move, because he will just lure this navy towards his commander, and is that what he really wants? I'm not too sure about Slow keeps trying to attack this, and I think what we talked about before, getting torpedo upgrade and then go towards this navy, would be so much better. So if you would be here with the torpedo upgrade now, this would make a devastating difference for Bloodier. Even though he's still not doing too bad in this naval fight, but I think it's just going towards Bloodier. Very close, so the torpedo upgrade would have definitely made the difference here. And then he should also make a bit anti-air here, so he just doesn't get harassed by air units all the time. And looks like, since he doesn't have any kind of base here with anti-air and torpedo launchers, as he should have probably to be somewhat safe, doesn't need to be much, so you don't want to put too many resources into it either that you need for navy. But then he should die, I would believe, but Bloodier doesn't seem to be too interested in killing him. He's using some torpedo bombers, but not really using his navy. Don't see too much reason why, but excuse me, getting kinda tired and hungry as well, because I didn't cook because I was late, and then I wanted to stream the tourney. I have to cook later. Some huge torpedo engagements happening here. I think he might as well just face the units and park them here and shoot at the base while the destroyers are here, and then he can force them to surface. And I would also think that Gently should probably move some units towards Slow to prevent him from dying, because even though it's full share, then once the SU is still quite useful, it's taking a lot of resources from Bloodier and a lot of attention, and then you probably don't want to lose Slow as ally ever, even if he's getting crushed at the moment.
Yeah, I think Gently could probably spare 1 or 2 destroyers, and if he could have spared them about 2 minutes ago when Bloodier and Slow were in that engagement, that really would have tipped it.
Yeah, I also think that this is the second game where Gently could have taken over and bail Slow out, and proves that he's really able to win these games for even for Slow. Slow working on attack 2 pigeon. That would be quite huge if he kills it, but I think he could probably kill it, but he would get really low from it, so maybe a better decision to...
He's near to a veterancy, so it won't be too bad.
And that's also the downside of reclaiming the units instead of killing them, as mentioned. But I think he should still reclaim them, because it's so much more efficient with attack 2 upgrade. And he is not really too busy right now, because he doesn't have much else left. Fortunately, Bloodier wanted to help Stubbs with his air, and it died. That means Slow is alive again. Maybe Bloodier doesn't want to kill Slow and invest too much into killing the SEU because it's full share, but at the same time he has to invest so much into the SEU that it's and air. It would have been better if he really just used the navy and air to kill him, and then he could still do everything else. Because as long as Slow is alive here, then he might lose his Tech 2 pigeon now, and he doesn't have another one on his island here, so he will actually, unless he gets power from his teammate, who might lose his power soon just as well, and he doesn't have a Tech 2 pigeon either, it could be really ugly. And Slow is making a Tech 1 point defense while being under fire of more Tech 1 point defenses. I don't understand why he's not making a Tech 2 point defense after he kills all the units. Or he could even make factories here.
Well, maybe he doesn't have the mass because his island's basically destroyed.
Yeah, probably. Even so, it wasn't destroyed for until now, and he can ask for mass from his ally. It requires communication, but it's completely worth it. And he could have done that all the time, right? Because Bloody is always wasting his units to do some damage, but he's not actually. But he needs his units once Slow builds point defense.
Yeah.
So Bloodier's air did apparently help together to save Stubbs long enough. So he
quite a
can.
bit of reclaim up there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So he can kill Slow's base, and now he is moving his navy towards the top side. And I think this was a really interesting game because Gently could have helped Slow, but the player who helps the other player, the team who helps each other, is winning here. And that's really nice to see that the teamwork is rewarded. I think now the opportunity for Gently to help Slow is gone since his base died.
Well, I don't think Gently is doing so bad. I think he's ecoed quite a bit.
Oh no, not at all. He's doing great. He's winning his side after all, and he was in the position to win the game. But it's not enough to do even more to win this game for Slow, with Slow losing against Bloodier.
I mean, Slow's down to 0.
Yeah, Slow's going to explode very soon, and he... Wait, what? I think he kills a pigeon and Bloody rebuild it? Is it possible?
Yeah, probably.
Because I think
if he suicided into
the base?
Bloodier's power, I think that would do quite a bit of damage.
But he doesn't kill the power, right?
Yeah.
Com-bombing doesn't work anymore. That's also why Future isn't such a problem anymore, in general. Doesn't have any mass. But Bloodier, let's see if this power stall is really... No, he's actually not power stalling at all. He has a lot of Tech 1 pigeons.
I think Stubbs donated a T2 pigeon up top.
Yeah, that's... Oh, right, he did, yeah. I thought he doesn't have one. Maybe he just built it as well. Yeah, I think he... and now Stubbs is stalling power incredibly, and Bloodier is not stalling at all. He's even overflowing. No, he's overflowing a lot. So that are priorities here from this team.
Yeah.
Stubbs knows what he owes Bloodier for bailing him out here.
Yeah. Also, if it did cost Stubbs, I'd say that Stubbs for Slow would be a very good trade into.
Yeah, absolutely.
Skill.
Even so, the difference wouldn't be if Gently helped Slow, then it would have been Bloodier who died, right? Or his base.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, we can maybe speed it up a bit now. Because unless Gently pulls some magic and wins this naval fight, I think numbers are slightly in favor of Bloodier, so it's still possible to win it. With the hover it's maybe about the same. And he has Seraphim Destroyers against Cybran. So he could be able to win, but he got 4 left, and maybe Bloody had too many actually.
Yeah, Gently sent his hover in first.
Yeah, I saw it, he wasted it, he didn't do it well. I think if he did it really well, he might have won this fight, and if he wins this fight, if he plays really well afterwards, he could maybe take this island back, and then maybe push this island, and that would push him back into the game. Especially because Low somehow is still alive. He doesn't have any.
I think a com drop from Gently would be quite good.
Right now?
If he drops Low's island first, a couple of T2 PD would clear it out.
Yeah, even so, he would have needed to do it before he loses navy.
Yeah.
Because now he can't anymore, so you need to stall the navy fight or something. But it's true, he could com drop could have been really good because he got the top island after all. So even so, it's pretty hard to play against Bloodier and Stubbs, both. And that would only create a somewhat equal position advantage.
That's true.
I think Slow misplayed here really significant by not moving away with his SEO and not switching focus to this island or getting torpedo upgrade or something, or trying to move away and transport out. And then, but the main is it doesn't really matter so much in the end, but it could have made the difference here in this engagement, and that's where it mattered. Losing this one naval engagement that was so close was what changed this game. And I think now Bloodier is and Stubbs, even though it's mostly on Bloodier now, is playing this very safe and controlled, and that means that it's even harder for Gently to do anything because they're not giving him any room. They're not going to do any mistakes right now that Gently could abuse and not getting too greedy. Oh, actually, there's some very interesting attack here from Gently, managing to sneak destroyers into Bloodier.
Yeah, that's a nice sniper attempt.
That's really nice. It's not working, unfortunately, but I really wish it would have worked because I missed it actually. How?
Yeah, and
I
Stubbs
think
has
there
just
was still
got
left
ARAS, so
over.
that's T3, yeah.
Yeah, so they were still left over from this engagement, and he managed to sneak them into Bloodier's ACU. That's really great, even so it didn't work. But that was a really nice try, regardless. Yeah, when Tech 3 is coming, then Gently will have even more problems than he already has from the Navy.
Well, Zlow's heading towards Stubbs' island, and I don't think they know he's coming, so he could catch him by surprise with a couple of T3 people.
Yeah, but what is he going to do, right? He only got a Tech 2 ACU, and right now it's at a minute 30, so he can build some 20 defense and kill the Tech 2 PGen. And maybe some Nazak structures, but I think that's pretty much it. And there's also the sonar. So, oh no, he got stairs, right? What he could maybe do is move here.
Yeah.
But there's 3 torpedo launchers, so no. Unfortunately, he can't. If there wouldn't be torpedo launchers, he could maybe move and then try to catch him off guard and build torpedo launchers here, and then take 1 point defense if he moves on land and kill him.
Yeah.
But honestly, even if he kills him, it's not going to change too much with full share.
Well, it'd take out an ARAS ACU, which is pretty significant.
Oh yes, it's true, but
It'd also even up map control because they'd have 3 islands each.
I wouldn't think that he would just get the island, because in the meantime, while he kills him or tries, it takes quite a long time. And in the meantime, Blodio can send something, so I don't think he would lose the island. And